You just threw away $3 on water that costs less than a penny. And tomorrow, you'll do it again. Why? Today you'll learn how the bottled water industry has turned the most accessible resource on the planet into a commodity with a markup higher than oil. And at the end, I'll show you who's really profiting from your thirst. Let's do the math. 1 liter of tap water in the US in 2026 costs an average of 1/10 of a cent. But what do we actually see when we walk into any store? A bottle of Dasani costs $1.50. Fiji water costs $3. Voss costs $6. For comparison, bottled water in the US is on average 240 to 10,000 times more expensive than tap water. But here's the thing that usually makes people uncomfortable. About 64% of bottled water is ordinary tap water. It's just filtered and packaged. Coca-Cola makes no secret of the fact that Dasani is municipal water that has been filtered. Pepsi does the same with Aquafina. So why do you buy it? Because they're not selling you water. They're selling you a feeling, an emotion, or a story. Evian is live young. Fiji is Earth's finest water. Voss is choose extraordinary. In blind tests, people can't tell Evian apart from tap water. But when they see the label, the taste suddenly improves. This is called the placebo effect. From 2019 to 2024, the industry earned more than $250 million from it in the US alone. But the craziest thing is not the markup, it's who controls this industry. I'll talk about that soon. Look at this bottle. 3 times more water was used to produce it than it currently contains, plus oil, plus carbon dioxide emissions. Every minute, around 1 million plastic water bottles are sold worldwide. Every year, the industry produces about 25 million tons of plastic waste. For example, in the US, only about 33% is recycled, according to 2025 data. The remaining 67% ends up in landfills or the ocean. And the craziest thing is that you eat it. Microplastics are already in your blood. In a 2022 study conducted by Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam, they were found in 77% of the people tested. Every week you eat about 5 grams of microplastics. That's like eating an entire credit card each week. And you pay for this privilege. So who actually profits from this? You walk into a store and see hundreds of different brands. It seems like a free market, competition, choice. But this is the greatest illusion in the history of marketing. Just 4 companies control 60% of the global bottled water market. Get ready to count. Nestlé, the largest Swiss food company in the world, occupies about 19% of the global market. They own Perrier, San Pellegrino, Batel, Aquapanna, and 50 other local brands. Their philosophy is simple. Former Nestle chairman Peter Brabeck-Letmathes said the following in the 2005 documentary, "We Feed the World." Public ownership of water may be seen as a public good, but I believe that access to water should not be a public right. It should be a paid service. And although a few years later, Nestle released an official video in which Brabeck says that he was simply misunderstood. After all, Nestle, as of 2005, was the world leader in bottled water production. Thus, for the company, issues of people's access to water are closely linked to its business interests. The second player is Danone, France, which owns approximately 17% of the global market. They are the owners of Evian, Volvic, and Bonafont. They position themselves as eco-friendly, but in fact they have privatized the glaciers of the Alps. Water, which has flowed freely for centuries, is now effectively monopolized and costs as much as gasoline. The third and fourth players are from the US. Coca-Cola and PepsiCo hold 12% and 11% of the global market, respectively. These guys don't even need sources. Coca-Cola owns Dasani and Smartwater. PepsiCo owns Aquafina. They went even further. Why look for a well? They connect to the city water supply, filter the water, add magnesium salts, and sell it to you. This is not a water extraction business. It is a business selling plastic, filled with almost free raw materials. Do you think you're paying for the Italian Alps or the glaciers of Fiji? No. You're sponsoring Swiss, French, and American conglomerates that have held an oligopoly on liquid gold for over 30 years. Here's what's really crazy. In developed countries, tap water is safer than bottled water. In the US, tap water is regulated by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. They test it constantly, publish detailed reports, and strictly control every stage of the process. The FDA, Food and Drug Administration, is responsible for bottled water. And this is where it gets interesting. The FDA regulates bottled water in the same way as any other food product. That is, there are standards, but inspections are much less frequent, reporting requirements are much less stringent, and there's virtually no public transparency. But you still buy a bottle. Why is that? Because the industry has convinced you that tap water is second-rate, and bottled water is self-care. They sold you fear, and you keep paying for it. But let's be honest, I just told you about markups, marketing, and corporations. All of that is true, but it's not the whole truth. Yes, companies want to make money, that's their nature. The people who work at Nestle, Danone, and Coca-Cola aren't villains. They're ordinary people, just like you and me. Their job is to maximize profits. It's not malicious intent, it's pure capitalism. And here's the thing, corporations do what society allows them to do. When Coca-Cola started losing millions due to plastic boycotts from 2018 to 2022, they ultimately made a massive switch to using recycled plastic and committed to selling 25% of all products in reusable or returnable packaging by 2030. Unfortunately, it's clear that these are only half measures, but in reality, it's already a huge step forward. Imagine tomorrow you find yourself in the store again, and you have a simple choice. Take the $3 bottle or walk away. Now you know what's inside that bottle and what's left behind. What will you do with that knowledge? It's entirely up to you. Thank you for watching until the end. If this video made you think for even a second, then my efforts were not in vain. Which fact from this video shocked you the most? Write in the comments. And see you next time.
You walk in the store, throw away $3 for a bottle of lies, man, that really sucks. It costs less than a penny straight from the tap, but you pay for the logo on the plastic cap. Dasani, Fiji, Voss, what a fancy name, different labels, but